Hey everyone, this is Nemesis with another video review. This is the Transformers Power of the Primes Deluxe Class Dinobot Slug, or as most of us know him, Slag. Yes, the triceratops of the Dinobot team. And he is right here in his standard color scheme, but he also comes in this package right here. You can see right there the render of the Dinobot mode, the Hasbro ages 8+, Transformers logo. Up here you have the artwork, pretty decent artwork because he's breathing fire and everything. Hey, look! So I think it's Volcanus. That's the Dinobot combiner that's coming. Once we get all 5 of them. And back here, you got the typical warnings and whatnot at the bottom, and copyrights and play pattern, prime armor, both his modes right there, and of course his bio, which reads, "How will the hot-headed Dinobot warrior wield the power of the primes?" So, yep, there it is. Pretty simple packaging, pretty much like everything else in the package. Along with the figure here, he comes with his his collector's card, which, see that? Again, more the nice artwork on the back. It is Alchemist Slug. Lowers the melting point of any substance, which makes sense considering, well, he's got that fire breath. I'm going to go ahead and move the camera just a little bit closer. And then just refocus and right. And also along with the card, he comes with his instruction sheet. Typical instructions there. Not the greatest, but not the worst either. Again, the biggest problem with these deluxes is seemingly the instructions are kind of small, oddly enough. Not sure why they're so small, but there they are. And along with those, he comes with a gun and his prime armor. This one is a bit different from like Jazz and Dreadwinds because it's got the spiky thing right here. That's about it, really. And yeah, there's accessories. Wow, talking is hard. But yeah, here he is. He's a triceratops, which is good. He's a gray and black, silver, and gold triceratops, which is correct. It's nice that again that you got this, gold, translucent gold stuff like on the tail, the hips, the head. Translucent gold with, I think that's silver underneath. Or no, it's gold with, that's right. It's translucent plastic with gold underneath. That's what it is. Got it backwards. But, yeah. It looks a lot like his old G1 self in many ways. Although it's kind of a weird thing that it's just kind of super, I guess the streamlining kind of makes it look a little weird in a sense. Right here, the frill, because the frill doesn't really stick up more, it kind of looks a little weird, just kind of this whoosh. And he also, his legs, particularly his front legs, kind of sit a little funny. I mean, they have to be up like this for him to be even with the rear legs, and it's kind of odd looking in a way. Makes sense. But yeah, it's a decent dinosaur mode. I mean, he's got his horns, which you can kind of move them left and right a little bit if you want. I don't like to move them too much. I like to keep them more or less close-ish to the center, but not too close. About right there. He's also got a little Autobot logo tampoed right there. And yeah, he doesn't do much. I mean, he can move these legs forward and back. See that? And they can move forward and back. They're really tight too. He's got these knees, but it creates a massive gap. And the thing is, again, you can pose it, but really not too much effect. And you got these front ones. These are on ball joints up here on the shoulder, so you can move them forward and back and outward and stuff. And you can bend it at the, I guess, forward knee. But again, because of the limitations of the rear one, there really isn't much use to that. It's just kind of, that's it. That's what you get. And I guess you can open his mouth, but what you're doing is all you're doing is just opening up for the robot head and or the robot mode, and looks a little weird. Really not much there. And the posability is not, it's there to a degree, but it's not really useful is the problem. But you can take the prime armor and stick it in this port. There's a port right here on the back. You can stick it up there. It's kind of loose, so it doesn't hold super well, so it moves pretty easily. Or you can take the gun. There's multiple ports like on the side. The same port up there. Those first ports there. You can like put them in there. I like to put it there. Yeah, that's more or less his Dino mode, and of course the Prime Armor. This bit can come out, and that's this clear thing can be a gun. Stick it wherever, and in there you're supposed to put a Prime Master, but I don't have any of those, so Titan Master to the rescue. Stick it in, and Slug's now carrying Ultra Magnus. Slag, Slug. Might be using those interchangeably. That's pretty much the play pattern here. I guess you can use this as, I don't know, some sort of turret or something, I guess, but it looks a little off. But it's alright. It's just kind of, it's actually kind of a little disappointing in a way, you know. I mean, this is one of those, this is kind of a disappointing alt mode in some ways, but it's not terrible. It's just kind of, oh, that's it, is what I mean. So, yeah, that's his Dino mode. I'm going to go ahead and put him in leg mode real quick. Let's see, I believe it's, you take the rear tail here and you just move it back like that. You fold these knees up, and I believe it's, yeah, rotate these. Oh, there it is. Never mind. You just rotate them back. There's a little tab on the, you see that? There's a little tab right here. Right there on the inside of the leg that goes in a little slot right there. You just, then this folds up right there. So just boom, that's that. Take these forward knees just kind of wherever, really. Just suck them in. Just kind of get them out of the way in a way, like that. And then you take the whole dinosaur head and unclip it from there. You move it forward like this. It becomes a kneecap, and you rotate the combiner joint out. You got more or less his leg mode. Just like that. Yeah, it's gonna make an alright leg mode. I mean, nothing particularly special there. It's an alright leg mode. It'll work, all things considered. Now for arm mode, what you want to do is take this combiner more important, of course, or peg, and put it back that way. Let's see. You gotta split the rear half away from the rest of it. You gotta also, before you do that, you gotta split these tail parts right here. Get them out of the way, which means getting the legs out, those rear legs out of the way. Get them out of the way, split them like this. See that? Just split apart like that. Then you can unfold the whole rear half like this. And they're probably gonna come apart while you do so. When that happens, just peg them back together. Take them back together like that. No big deal. Then you take the gotta take the little tail and put it back, fold it back in, peg them back together as well, fold them down, fold the dinosaur legs back in, put them into their tabs in their slots like that, and then rotate it depending, like this, any which way. And honestly, this is pretty much it. I believe, yeah. There's these little tabs here, but they don't really tab in anything. I thought they did, but they don't really. At least, wait. Oh, I'm dumb. I forgot something. You have to turn these legs around. Then there's this little slot here, which goes over this tab here. There you go. That's what I forgot. I think you do that same thing for leg mode as well. So yeah, just pretend I turn those around for leg mode. So shh. Yeah, and then you do that. And then you take the prime armor, fold the fingers out, and use whichever, make sure the pig's right, and then use whichever thumb is the right side, and then plug it in. There's a little hole right there. Plug it in. What's interesting is someone pointed this out on TFW, and I totally forgot about this, which is because these are 5mm pigs, you can plug Titan Master weapons into there as replacements for hands. So just keep that in mind when you start getting these combiners all together. But anyway, here's the arm mode. Yeah, it's a kind of passable arm mode. It's kind of weird looking up here because this is going to have to be the front for the knee bend or the elbow bend. So this is going to be the front, so it looks a little empty. So it's going to look a little weird. I think this is going to probably work better overall as a leg mode. But yeah, he's got, because of the knees and the hips and stuff, he's got a dual jointed elbow, which lets him curl that far. The waist swivel here lets him have a bicep swivel of sorts. And of course, there'll be the shoulder articulation, and that forward and back and out and up and down, all that stuff. There. That's the arm mode. So unpeg that to get into robot mode. We're actually most of the way there already. Straighten that out. Rotate this forward. Put the combiner peg down. Split the legs apart again. Get those untabbed. Rotate them back around. Tab and rotate them back around. Take the hands. Unpeg them and fold them out. They're kind of tight, I noticed. Fold those out. This thankfully there's a little tab there so you can get your fingernail around it. Pull it out. Put the dinosaur head back forward. Make sure it clicks all the way in place, and then take the mouth. Fold it down. And there you have Slug, or Slag, in his robot mode. He's I think the biggest thing here is he feels like, because of the combiner board or combiner type thing he has to do, I think the biggest problem is he kind of feels too thin in a way. It's Slug or Slag, you know, he's supposed to be a little thicker and stuff, and he's kind of thin it feels like he's a little thin, unfortunately. I'm not sure if he's actually too thin, but he kind of does feel like he's a little too thin. The other thing is he doesn't have his, you know, trademark like wing thing from these splitting. They don't split anymore. They just kind of sit there, so he doesn't have those. I think that kind of adds to this feeling of he's too thin, if that makes sense. You know? I'm going to raise this camera just a bit. Just a tiny bit. There we go. Get a little better view of him. But, yeah, I mean, a lot of it's right, in a sense. It's got the red chest with the gray center, the gray arms, and mostly gray, black, gray, gold feet, gold toes. A little bit of silver detailing right here. He's got the color scheme and everything. He's got the hooded, you know, he's kind of got the hooded head from this dinosaur mode. It's just kind of, I don't know, something is just kind of off here. And I think, again, it's just kind of, he's too thin. He's it's a pretty good robot. It's just, something's just not right. And I think, again, it's just kind of the weird thinness. Also, he doesn't come with a sword. He just comes with his rifle. So he can plug that, you know, plug that into his hands. That's a little loose, I've noticed. That's this rifle plugs in a little loose, unfortunately. And of course, you can take the prime armor and peg it into like these slots on the sides of his arms. Peg into that, you know, any which way you want to. Of course, you don't want it on the arm. You could also hide it away on the back, you know, because that peg's still there. Again, though, the problem is this is the same peg, which is kind of loose, so don't be surprised if it just kind of flops down like that. But, you know, it's at least storage if something. And, of course, if you want him to wear it, there's this peg right here, peg hole right there. Plug it in. And this is super loose, I've noticed. Yeah, it's kind of an unfortunate loose peg. But, you know, whereas it's a thing still. I'm still not really fond of it. I think this is a gimmick which kind of like doesn't really work, in my opinion, unfortunately. But his head's black. Just totally black. Yeah, you can see his black. Red eyes picked out nicely, though. But yeah, I see, again, Autobot logo there, which is nice. But, again, silver. A little bit of silver on the kneecaps. Gold toes and everything. His kibble hides away pretty well, unlike some of the previous Dinobots. So, you know, it's just basically just his dino legs down here. But everything else kind of sucks in pretty well. So, I guess he got a little bit of backpack, but it's really not that bad. So, he's also got big, stompy feet. Oh, and this is something I forgot when they're transforming him. His heels. This is a kind of a huge thing I forgot because I was in such a hurry. Shame on me. Right here. These are supposed to be heel struts. To get them out, you can actually just rotate this. They're on the same joint, so there you go. Get them down there, and then attach this to the peg, and then put these down. I forgot that part. That's important. So don't be like me. You got to actually get those rotated down. Obviously, it's not necessary because you'll be able to stand just fine without them, but it tends to go a little bit better if you do have them. There. And there you go. Now he's got proper heels. They'll stand a little bit better. They're not absolutely necessary, as you saw, but they do help a little bit. So don't forget that. I did. Shame on me. But articulation though, he's got a head on a swivel, but because of where it is, it's kind of hard to get in there. You kind of have to jam your finger in, and you can at least move it as far as it's useful, so he can look off to the side. Both sides, he can do that, but you kind of have to just kind of push your finger in on the edge and just push. But it works. So it's a little hidden in the way, but it's not too horrible to deal with. He's got big ball jointed shoulders though. Those have a lot of range, forward and back, outward. Pretty good. They're pretty unhindered. Bicep swivels. Those are nice. Elbows. They're actually very soft detent. So he got about 90 degrees of forward curl, and he's got a little bit of backward curl even too. So you can have his, you can have a bit broken elbow. He's got a waist joint. Thankfully, that seems to be the thing. That's one nice thing is all these deluxes, because of the combiner gimmick, they're gonna all have waist joints. So that's super nice. So he's got a pretty good waist joint. It's kind of off center. And he does have a Tamashii stage port right there, like most of these are starting to do. But yeah, he's got a nice waist joint, unhindered. No kibble getting in the way or anything. Ball jointed hips, forward, pretty far. Back pretty unhindered too, mostly. I mean, it can't go fully because of this, but it's so far back it doesn't really matter that much. Outward, it stops about there. I think the sculpting, see there's a cut. The cut doesn't go far enough, so it goes about that far. If the cut was deeper, it could go further, but that's about how far it goes, unfortunately. No full splits here. Thigh swivel low. Thigh swivel right there, right below the ball. Knees. These are very tight knees, I notice. The thing is, they can't even go 90 degrees. They can go about, I want to say 45 degrees, actually. They don't go very far. That's about how far they go. And no articulation in the toes or anything. There's those heels, but they can't really move in this. But, yeah, it's pretty much Slug here. He's not... I think, honestly, he's probably the weakest of this wave. It just... I don't know. Just something about him is just off. I think it's just one of those things is kind of feels scrawnier than he should be. He just... and I'm thinking about it, even his dinosaur mode feels a little scrawny. I think it's just because they had to make him smaller for the sake of the combining gimmick. And it's like... I understand it's kind of cool to have a combining Dinobot combiner guy, Volcanus, and that was a weird word salad. But combining Dinobots, it's kind of cool, but they compromised Slag here for the sake of it. He's kind of feels too scrawny for Slag. Slag's supposed to be a bulky dude, and he's just not. I think that's what makes him suffer, because otherwise he's pretty spot on to his G1 self. It's just, I think honestly, it's just the combining thing kind of made him scrawny, which makes him kind of suffer a little bit. He's not a bad toy, but I honestly think the only reason a lot of people are going to be getting him is just to have all the Dinobots. If it wasn't for that, I probably think a lot of people would be skipping him, honestly, because he is kind of the weakest of this wave. I'm not going to lie. In a way, Dreadwind barely ekes out enough points to get ahead of him, I think, but yeah, he's not the greatest. He's definitely so far the weakest Dinobot. I mean, we only got 3 out of 6, but I think even Slash is better than this, and that's kind of weird. It's just kind of one of those. It's not a bad toy. It's just disappointing in a way. It's not what you'd expect Slag to be, or Slug, whichever. So yeah, it's just. I think it's one of those, only get him for the sake of having the full Dinobot team, but otherwise, if you're not getting the rest of the Dinobots, probably not worth it. So, yeah, that's my thoughts on him. I hope you found this interesting or entertaining. I hope you like, comment, and subscribe below. And I hopefully shall see you next time with another video where I finally round off the deluxe Wave 1s with, well... There's only one left, and you can probably guess who it is. So see you then.